the moment we've waited for. AbilityMKE now.
Welcome to Ability MKE Now. My name is Sue Ruskoff. Ability MKE Now is where we are dedicated to inclusion, connection, community, bringing people together and being relevant to everybody, because that's exactly what we do here. We're bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own, with people we know, or with people we encounter in our everyday lives. We all have different and unique abilities, and that is what we celebrate. Here at Ability MKE Now, we celebrate the ability in all of us. And I got to give a quick shout out to my co-host, Michael Martin Hummel. He is not joining us tonight because he's got some plans with his lovely wife as they're celebrating their what did he call it? The anniversary of his proposal. I believe he said it, proposalversary. I got to get that word in my mind. I love that. We should all pick a next. It's another day to celebrate. I absolutely love that. So congratulations to them. And I look forward to having him back on our next show. But we are so blessed to have an amazing guest joining us today. Mary Haberski has spent 15 years inside the wellness industry, and along the way, she's earned a name that people actually call her by, which is the Queen of Wellness. And today that shows up in two places. The first is VidaSana Wellness, the company she founded and now leads as CEO. VidaSana is building something the wellness industry has never had: trust infrastructure. Not another marketplace app listing every provider under the sun, but a platform built on rigorous vetting, AI-powered matching, journey tracking, and real community, so people can actually trust who they're booking with. VidaSana is launching app first, starting in Mexico City. The second is her private mentorship practice for executives, founders, and visionaries who've already built the thing everyone depends on and quietly discovered that the top is lonelier than anyone warned them it would be. Mary works one-on-one with people carrying that kind of weight, holding space for the leaders who spent their lives holding space for everyone else. Mary splits her time between the United States and Mexico, and right now she's deep in both worlds at once, upscaling VidaSana through its launch and mentoring the founders behind the scenes who needed someone in their corner too. It is my absolute privilege to introduce Mary Haberski to us today. How are you, Mary?
Hello, hello. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
I am thrilled to have you here. I wonder if you want to just dive in a bit more on your background and how your journey has led you to where you are now.
Wow. Well, my spiritual, I guess, personal development journey started quite at a young age. I would say I always joke that I was born a witch. I was always really drawn to the occult and magic and spells and all kinds of witchy things ever since I was a little kid. And I had gotten my first set of oracle cards when I was 14, and I started getting into all of this ethereal esoteric studies at a very young age. And that it was just more fun for me before I started actually practicing yoga and meditation, which was when I was 18 years old. So that was something that was really fascinating for me because it I was working full time and going to school full time in college. And I was really, really just nonstop. And for some reason, that practice did something to me that I couldn't quite put my finger on. And the deeper it went, the deeper it went. And after, geez, many, many years of practice, almost over a decade of practice, I finally got the courage to start to teach. I wanted to teach as soon as I started, basically. And I never had the confidence to do it. I was like, oh, I'm not good enough at it, or no, this isn't for me, or, all of that negative self talk. So eventually, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to move to Los Angeles and I'm going to become a yoga teacher. And that's what I did. I had no idea at the time that being a yoga teacher in LA is like being an actor in LA.
Ooh.
There's like so many of them that it's like it doesn't even make sense. It's extremely competitive. And this was what, now 15 years ago. But I am a classically trained yogi. I went to India. I lived there for a bit. I was showering out of the same bucket I was washing my clothes in the ashram. Everybody's like, oh, eat, pray, love. I didn't even know what that was. I was just on my own spiritual journey. And then that led into so many things that I never would have expected my career to take me, because I did a lot more development on myself, classes, courses in spiritual development, master tarot readings, and eventually, from teaching into mentorship, because I felt really limited in just teaching yoga and meditation, because my own personal day-to-day practices were not just that anymore. I had too much to offer. So within the mentorship, I'm able to incorporate all of these different teachings that aren't just esoteric, but very deeply rooted in the most current science of why this stuff actually works. Because I was going on, experience and raw faith that this stuff worked, but now we're starting to see science catching up with the spiritual, and why does this stuff actually work? And I'm fascinated by that, because belief is one thing, but then knowing tangibly is another.
That that is a fascinating path that you've, oh my gosh, I love that, because you did something that a lot of people are afraid to do, and you followed your dream. You followed the path where life was taking you. You went to LA. You get to spend time in India studying as well. I love your story.
Yes, but it's not easy. None of it's
Oh.
easy. That's like that. I always tell my nephew, he's a senior now in high school. I'm like, it's all going to be hard. So pick your hard. Being fit is hard. Being overweight is hard. Being wealthy is hard. Being poor is hard. Choose whatever hard you want to do and just get after it, because none of it's gonna, chasing your dreams is hard. Working for somebody else, if you know that you really don't want to do that, that's also really hard. So I don't want to paint a picture here that it's been a smooth sailing the entire time, because it certainly hasn't.
So with all of those stepping stones along the way, what piece really stands out to you as being kind of a shift in knowing where you're going, and now that you have your own company and that led you to be where you are now?
Boy, it's funny how everything does eventually lead you to wherever it is you're going, even though you can't clearly see that in the moment. It was really interesting because I started working with a lot of children, which I never thought I would do. That wasn't my intention at any rate. I've always loved children. Don't have any of my own, but I've always loved children. Ever since I was a little kid, I was like, I want to be a pediatrician, like a healer for children. So I just ended up being a yoga teacher for children. So I've taught just like an unseen amount of children yoga and meditation, and ended up doing a lot of mentorship as well with college age kids or high school age kids too along the way. None of that was like top of mind. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be in like retreats all over the world. It's like, no, I was just like having all these children coming towards me. And so, what I really learned along this way in getting into this point has been that it's all going somewhere. And that was really hard, because I'm I'm like a super achiever. I'm a very goal driven person. I go after what I want always. I'm very dedicated when I do something, and I used to struggle so much because I wasn't at a certain point. And because it didn't matter. I'd get like magazine interviews, da 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 da, this, but I never stopped to celebrate because I wasn't Oprah, right? Like I wasn't
Yep.
there yet, like whatever that there you think you're supposed to be is. So what all of that taught me through, like, honestly, a lot of suffering, like a lot of like crying on the floor, just having a really hard time throughout my career, was to where I'm at now with my current company. And now I'm building a corporation. I'm not just a solopreneur anymore. Now we're, incorporated. So this is a much bigger endeavor. And all of that along the way, this sounds so cheesy, but it's so true. It is really about who you're becoming along the way and not your actual goal. And because I knew that, but I didn't embody that during, like, basically the first 10 years of my career, which led to a lot of burnout. And now I have huge goals, a huge vision for this company. I want to, of course, help millions of people with mind, body, spirit wellness. And of course, I want to make hundreds of millions of dollars. Duh. Like, obviously, I want to do both of these things at the same time. But what's been able to keep me going in this venture is really my mindset that it's about who I'm becoming. I've become a much stronger businesswoman. My boundaries are a lot clearer. My intuition has always been great, but now I actually trust it. And what, people pay me all this money for this intuition. And in the past was like, well, maybe we should just give him. No, you're not going to give him another. Like, you already know, just get rid of them. Like, you already have come to this point. You trust yourself. So that has been, refined so much. And I'm like, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe we make these goals. Maybe I meet the man of my dreams along the way. Maybe get hired to some other company who's like, oh my God, this woman's an amazing CEO. Let's buy out her company and bring her in. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Right.
Hmm?
And that has reduced a tremendous amount of stress and suffering, because it's not about the main objective, because I've been working on this thing for 2 years, which is insane. And because my mind thought it would go much quicker than this, but because it's not about that thing, that product, it's about who is this woman becoming. It's a different dialogue that I have with myself and the universe too, of what's going on.
Oh, and that is something we can all take to heart, because I think a lot of us beat ourselves up over, I'm not there yet, whatever there is, whatever that goal was. I haven't have my stepping on the scale and it's not there yet. It's not reaching the number I want. It's not, the promotions, whatever it is. I
Mm.
absolutely love your concept here that it's about that journey. It's about who are you becoming along the way. There are lessons that
Hmm.
we're all meant to learn along the way. We don't even know what they are yet necessarily, but that
Yep.
journey. Actually, I had the honor of speaking at an event of, when was it? Maybe a year ago, I think. And that one, the topic was all about trust your journey, because I
Mm.
look back on, even that I'm here having the pleasure of this conversation and this radio program. I never saw this in my future when I really go far back and look what was my vision forward back then. I gotta say, this was not on my radar, but I am so thankful that it is, that I have the chance to meet someone like you, share you with so many other people, and that we can grow like this. And I love that opportunity.
Yes, it's so beautiful. And I think I feel really bad for younger people. I think all of us go through this because of social media and how instant everything is, but it's also fake. That
Oh
it's
yeah.
like, and kids that are not developed enough, they didn't go through life like we went through, where they didn't have that, and they didn't see people actually had to put effort and energy into it. And I always say, like, listen, I don't want to take away your miracle or you being a unicorn, but it actually happening quickly is so incredibly rare. And people don't even want to try, because they give up before they even start, because it didn't happen like this, because of the
Yeah.
mindset. It's like, well, oh, it didn't happen, it's not meant for me. No, your just mindset isn't that. I'm about who I'm becoming, not about what making this actual goal happen. And whatever comes. And it's really, really sad, because there's so many people who have so much potential in them.
Mhm.
But I think we do a big disservice in the world now, how quickly everything is moving and how fake everything is, to not actually share the challenges and how much resiliency it takes and grit and determination. And it's like becoming a lost art on a lot of people. It's like, yeah, you had to work hard. It's just, I wish there was another way. And if I had the wand, I would have sprinkled that fairy dust on me a long time ago, like and anybody else. But it's just not. And I've worked with so many extremely successful people, like ultra high net worth people, celebrities, and that not a single one of them has like this, oh, yep, I just woke up one day and this happened. It's like, no, you weren't yet the person you needed to be that person, like you're not there yet. And that's okay. You don't have to be there yet. You're becoming. And I don't think we stop becoming until that's it. We're done. We're not in the body anymore. You're constantly becoming. And really at the end of the day, you never know ultimately what you're going to become. Not to say don't have goals and a vision and a dream for yourself, but I think, don't take your foot off the gas because you think that you're never going to get there. You surely won't if you stop, but if you keep going, you might get there. But in fact, in some place it's even better. And I think the most successful people, and truth be told, I'm still working on this myself. When I vision myself and I feel into the version of myself that I'm stepping into, and when I'm like, what is she doing? How does she deal with situations? Well, when something doesn't go her way, she's like, oh, okay, well, that wasn't for me. And then she turns around and then there's something better. And she's like, oh, good thing that other thing didn't work out because she had no attachment to it, right? She wasn't saying make it about some moral failing or her being not enough or her not being XYZ. And these are the stories we tell ourselves that get in our way of us becoming the thing that we actually do want to, the person we want to become in the world.
And I think what you're saying truly is universal. I know with this programming especially, we talk about people with disabilities, people that don't have a disability, and celebrating the ability in all of us. And so for every person, the journey's different and doesn't make any better or worse. It's just different. And we all have our own things that we need to grow from, struggle with, it's just different for everyone,
Yep.
but it's still there. It's still part of each person's story. I know. So with all the folks that you've had the opportunity to work with, then do you see themes? Do you see similarities along the way with people that are like typical stumbling blocks that you see often?
Yeah, definitely. Well, the people I work with currently in my mentorship programming, they are the people who are holding everything together. They're holding the room together, and it's really rare that people actually check in on them.
Mm.
Everybody just assumes that successful people have it all together, that they're okay, that they've got it, that they don't need support. And it's so not true. It's very isolating and very lonely at the top, mostly because of people's assumptions. And if you're not good at advocating for yourself, which most people are not the best because they are so accustomed to being the leader and the one that's everybody's looking to for the answers, it makes it really hard for people to ask for the support that they need. There's a bit of ego, there's a bit of pride, there's shame that's involved in that how could I be doing all of this, but I can't figure this thing out? It's like, well, because you're human. And
Yeah.
yeah, because you're human and you have a huge pressure that you have on you, and that pressure is rarely relieved. And people, unfortunately, a lot of times people go through destructive behaviors when they don't have healthy outlets for that pressure that is continuously building up. And that can even be, I'm talking about people who are working in, pretty high capacities. That can even be moms or dads who are, they're people who have so much going on, and maybe they look like super mom or dad of the year, but like really they're struggling. And it's hard for them to be vulnerable enough or to have the safety And that's why you pay for a professional, is because maybe you don't want your wife to know, and that's okay. And maybe you want to pay somebody to say, hey, like, these are the things that are really hard. I don't want to actually bring this into my home, but I need a place to drop this heavy stuff. Where can I drop this heavy stuff? And it's challenging. It's really challenging for people who are carrying a lot, and caretakers in general. And I would say also, you know, people who I worked with in the past, before I started working with higher level people, I was working with a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs and people in that my arena. And, it's interesting because everybody feels a hard thing for people is asking for what they're worth and what their value is, and advocating for that, like, oh, well, I don't know if I should charge XYZ. It's like, you should have charged triple that, actually. Like, yes, you should charge that much. Yes, you should expect. Yes, you should put the boundary on your time for your clients, and when they can contact you, and what you're doing, and them showing up late, and boundaries, and I think so much of it comes down to boundaries, with the boundaries we have with ourselves, and the boundaries that we have with other people. And if they're poor within ourselves, it's you can guarantee that your boundaries with other people are going to be trampled on.
And that makes sense. We don't always step back and think about that's a real thing, but what a difference that can make. It sounds simple. It doesn't, but that it's not
Yes.
easy to make that happen. It takes a mindset. It takes a shift, and
Yes.
but worth it. Oh, so worth it.
Worth it. I say that the one of the biggest acts of self love is boundaries, like firm boundaries that you follow through on, not just
Mhm.
boundaries, because that's usually a challenging part. A lot of people can, like, finally get up the courage to, like, put the boundary out, but then they get trampled on along the way. So following through on the boundary, I think it's one of the highest acts of self love is having really good boundaries for yourself.
Excellent. Well, and while I'm thinking of it here, I do want to make sure to ask the question of what is your website? I know I want to make sure to share that out.
Oh, it's my name, maryhaberski.com.
Excellent. And last name, so it's Mary Haberski, traditional spelling of Mary, Mary. Last name is Haberski. And again, ski is in there. You're hitting my hot spot here with just by
Yes.
chance. Love that.
Yes. Kismet.
Um, so I want to ask a little more about the company that you are leading. So VidaSana Wellness. You want to dive in a little more and tell us a bit more about what that all encompasses?
Yeah, so I'm quite known for creating communities. I've done that when I lived in LA, and then here in Mexico City as well. I grew a very large wellness community here over the past 5 years. And I started to notice a lot of different things. One is that we don't know who to trust out there in wellness. There's like, it's crazy. There's one guy who goes out there and does like one retreat, and then all of a sudden he's enlightened, but he's not, but he's a good business guy. So he's making all the money, and like, he knows how to make the sales. And then you have like the woman who is like an amazing healer or whatever, a massage therapist, whatever it might be, terrible business person, because most people in the wellness industry are very, very good at what they do, very, very bad at business. So they're just in the dust, living paycheck to paycheck, or not knowing how to get their workout. Everything's just referral based. On a hope and a prayer, they're in a chat hoping that somebody will book them. So there's that. And I'm seeing a lot of this within the community. People don't know who to trust. That doesn't exist. There is now a trusted ecosystem in all of the wellness industry. It's incredibly fragmented, and it's a $7 trillion industry right now, and it's up and to the right. This thing is not slowing down. So there's so much fragmentation of, there's like a marketplace over here, and then there's a community over here, and then this is there, but there's no real place for everything. So we created a brand new category where we have trusted, vetted providers so that you know when you come to our platform that you can trust who this person is. We are using AI to guide your wellness journey. So whether you're just beginning and you're like, I don't even know where to start, it's emotionally intelligent. So like, let's say you go to a, I don't know, a breath work class and you're like, I hated it. And it's like, well, what was it? Was it a painful childhood memory? Did you feel something in your body? So it digs a little bit deeper so that it can match you better with providers and services, and more importantly, community groups. So community is everything. People feel so alone when they're on their wellness journey and that like they're the only one who needs to lose 15 pounds or who is having depression, or a woman who's going through, perimenopause, whatever it might be. You're not. People are going through the same things. And what the AI does too is matches you with your community pod. So I'll use me as an example. Let's say, oh, I'm a 44, going to be 44 in a few days, year old woman. I'm on hormone replacement therapy, and I'm looking for my ladies 40 and above on HRT. You find your community pod, you could be chatting, what's going on? Are you having hot flashes? What are you taking to sleep? XYZ. Hey, I'm going to be in Chicago next week. Does anybody want to go to Pilates? And then you can meet up with some people. We also have business tools for the providers because, like said, they are not very good at that aspect. So we are taking away the admin part from them so they can just focus in on their magic. And then, of course, we'll be doing our own in-person and online events too, because community is really at the center of it.
Amazing. I love that. And so how long has that piece all been happening here? Because it's I'm assuming that you're at a point now where it's growth, you're getting more and more on board with what that all is.
Yes, we're about to launch the MVP. It's so we're almost we I mean the app exists. It's not out on the Google Play Store and Apple Store yet, because we haven't launched it publicly, but it's very close to launching. So it's exciting. It's been a huge journey. I've learned so much because I'm not a technology person. I'm a wellness expert for the past 15 years, but I know what this industry is missing and what it needs. And we have a beautiful, beautiful opportunity right now to actually use AI to not to separate from people, but bring more people together and streamline and help people's wellness journey. Is I think it's an amazing time to be alive. When you have the tools in the hands of the right people, you can just create such incredible things. So it's exciting because no matter, like I said, no matter what happens, like we're building something that has never existed before, and there's something really cool about that. It's like, yeah, you could build this and you could build that, but it hasn't existed. Like this thing does not exist. And so there's something amazing about that. And I'm really proud. And I would say that so far in my career, I've done a lot. I've had a lot of successes and done a lot. But even though we're only at this point of the MVP, I think this is like the biggest success I've had that we're even at this point. It's been amazing.
I absolutely love that. What a great spot to be right now. So I can just imagine where things are going from here. I wonder if you want to briefly touch on what some of your future goals are as this is coming together and growing.
Yeah, well, the goal right now, we're fundraising. So we're in our
Ah,
seed round of fundraising. We're raising $2.5 million, which like that's nothing. It's like some people won't even look at you for 2.5 million. They're like, "Pff, it's like nothing, is nothing, right?" So we're fundraising and the launch, and then I want to get into the US markets as quickly as possible. All nomads, where nomads are and where wellness is, obviously will be our main places that we're expanding out to. Being from we are a Delaware incorporated, so we are a U.S. based company, though we're starting here in Mexico because the community is primed and ready here. So those are the goals, and then the ultimate goal
amazing.
is to sell it within 5 years. That's my ultimate goal, and then I'll invite you on my yacht.
Amazing. Well, this again is Ability MKE now. As always, we thank you.